What's up, guys? It's Sam here with Stolt Fitness. So this past weekend, I took a drive out to Kailua. So I'm on the west side of Oahu, and it takes a little while to get out there. Plus, there was some traffic. There was actually an accident, and there's a shitload of traffic. Anyways, I went out to Kailua to paddle out to the Mokulua Islands, and that was a ton of fun. So actually, on the way out to Kailua, if you've never been to Hawaii, you travel through the mountains. And this is right here where I'm actually going through the mountains. This is a incline the whole way. And if you're... I have a cat in here. So I've been feeding this cat that's been hanging out by my door. And she's like... I don't even know if it's a she. She just keeps looking at the trash. Anyways, you come through that tunnel, and the view on this side is just freaking amazing. Sorry about that. You see those mountains on the right-hand side, and you see the ocean and everything on the left-hand side. I love coming through that tunnel. It's awesome. So I drove over here to rent the kayak. I don't remember what the place was called, but they actually had us watch this 10-minute video, and during the it's like a training video, safety video, like what you do kind of thing. And during that safety video, you actually have to stamp your piece of paper. It's automated. You just put it in think of a old like when you would go into work and you stamp your time card. That's what it is. And you stamp it again when you take it out, because they want to actually check that you watch the whole video. So then they'll look at the time to make sure that you actually were in there for 10 minutes. The video is just on repeat, like nobody's actually in there. And I was going to actually talk, as you can see. However, I just got the new iPhone, the iPhone 7, and it is IP67 certified, which is water resistant. I think up to 1 meter for 5 minutes or something like that, or 30 minutes or whatever it is. And when I got water in somewhere, maybe I think it was the mic, it doesn't, the sound cuts in and out, so I had to do a voiceover. So it was about a 10-minute walk, 5-10-minute walk over to here, and you launch down here into the water. There's all sorts of little fish swimming around. If you have not taken a trip to Hawaii, I would definitely recommend taking a trip to Hawaii. Look on Airbnb, find a freaking place. You know, you can use Toro, and you can rent a car or take the bus. You know, it doesn't have to be extremely expensive to get out here. There's ways to do things that are cheaper, and it's definitely freaking worth it. So now, during this during that area where I walk out at launch, it's very the water's not tall at all, and you just pull the boat out to the ocean. The water on the Kailua side of Oahu is absolutely beautiful. It's a completely different color than it is on the west side. Although I do like the west side because there's less rain. And I like the beaches over there because there's a lot less wind. But it is nice to come over to Kailua once in a while. From where I launched, where that bridge area was, out to the islands, and I think out here, this is where I'm going. It is about 2 miles. So the people where I rented this were super nice. If I remember, I will try to stick a link for where I rented this in the description if you were out here and want to check them out. And it was about 2 miles. They said depending on your skill level, how fast you're going, or blah blah blah, somewhere between like 45 minutes to an hour and a half. So it took me about... Now this cat is just climbed up on my chair and is just chilling there, like laying down. And so it took me about 40 minutes or so to paddle out there. On the way out there, I see this like plastic bag like in the top of the water. So I was paddling toward it because I was just gonna go pick it up. And it looks like it's a couple inches down from the surface, just like floating around. And as I get up to it, it's a sea turtle. Freaking so cool. I got to swim with the sea turtle one other time a couple months ago, and they're just so graceful as they just like move around, almost like they're in slow motion as they go through. It was very cool to be able to see that. So on these islands, there's about 1,000 birds' nests, and so it's restricted. You're not supposed to go past that rope, and also it's pretty heavily trafficked from every tourist that comes over here. There's like actually tours that come out here to do this trip, so you're not supposed to go back in there, but you can go to the back side of the island, which I ended up doing, which was pretty cool. So this is to the one side, but I actually went around to the other side as well. If I had had more time, I definitely would have come around the backside and spent more time in there. Next time I come out here, I'm going to bring a book and a blanket and just hang out. So in the backside of the island, there's actually, a place to hang out and watch the waves and jump into the water. And what I just pointed at, which is very hard to see in this video, actually this whole video was filmed on my iPhone, the new iPhone, which I am going to be returning later this week. I've already ordered a different phone, but completely forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, there's a lot of crabs out there. So anytime you get by those rocks like that, there's a ton of crabs. It was hard to see them in that video, but very cool. I also saw a butterfly during this time, and you don't see a ton of butterflies out in Hawaii. At least I don't see a ton of butterflies out in Hawaii. I showed you my chicken and quinoa. I added some carbs back into my diet during the day, so I've been having quinoa, 1 serving, and I like quinoa a little bit better than rice, because when you cook rice, say for 3 days or 4 days in a row, if the first day or two is good, then maybe the third or fourth day it gets really fucking dry and it just doesn't taste good. Where if you do the same thing with quinoa, it's actually not too bad. So I'm digging the quinoa. That's what I like to go to. Sometimes I will do the rice as well, but right now I have the quinoa. Down in that little area, there was a bunch of little fish just swimming around. I think I'd find a I had lots and lots of birds' nests all over the place, like those little holes in the ground that I showed with the egg in it or whatever. Me standing on the ledge. Back around that corner, people were hanging out as well. That's where you were able to jump in. And around this point, I had a little bit over an hour left, so I figured I should head back. And if you've ever been hiking or anything on this type of rock, don't wear flip-flops, because your feet get wet in these little puddles, and then they slide around and smash into the rocks all the time. So if you're going to do this, wear a pair of Vibrams or maybe like water shoes or whatever they're called. It'd be way easier than trying to walk on this like lava type rock with flip-flops. So this is actually the butterfly I saw. I tried to get some slow motion footage. It's a little hard to see, and then once I come in, he actually starts to fly away, but it was really pretty. It doesn't look that big, but it was pretty good size. A couple inches across, and there it goes flying away. So if this is your first time checking this out, make sure to press that like button and subscribe to see other videos like this in the future. If you have never checked out one of these insulated flasks, the red flask I'm about to hold up is actually a hydro flask. You can put hot or cold liquid in it. I use this thing all the time. So this has been out in the sun and everything for a few hours at this point, and it still had ice in it, which is really cool. So I use that thing all the time. There's 40 ounces. This brand is a hydro flask, whatever. I use it all the time out here. So this is when the sound was all messed up or whatever. It turned out to be a freaking beautiful day. The last couple weekends have been a little bit rainy, but today was the day I went on this thing was just absolutely beautiful. So if you go over that way, I think I'd point at some point, but I have to paddle back and then go around the corner. That's where I just came from. Yeah, so you go up around where that close corner is, and then you have to turn around it. It wasn't too bad of a paddle. There's actually another island out here called Flat Island, and there's another bird reservoir. And then out here, where I'm pointing at one of those two mountains right there, is Lanakai pillboxes. And it's a little hike you can hike up to. They have the pillboxes from the war. And then this is where I am finishing up, and I'm walking back in. Everybody just hangs out in here because it's almost like a sandbar. The last part is the sound actually decided to work, so hope you enjoyed. The kayak, good time. That was actually a very good burnout for my arms and my lats. I did back a couple days ago, so I felt it a lot in my lats, and then I did a little arms this morning. Should have filmed it, but now it's back off. I'm gonna check out something else. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to press that like button and subscribe to see other videos in the future. And I will see you on the next side.